Oh, yeah. So, hey, this is the Drupal usability meeting for August 21st, 2018. And we are looking at the help module, the advanced help module.
Yeah, help topics module.
Yeah, sorry for that, help topics.
That's fine. Okay, so this is Jennifer Hodgden, and I'm going to just give you a quick demo of what it looks like. So this is a proposed module for Drupal core. We have a patch on this issue here that's Drupal.org node 2920309. And what it does is it adds a plugin system for help topics, and it allows modules to and themes actually to add help topics to the help page. So this is the standard page at admin help that you get if you turn on the help module. And if you turn on this new module that's called help topics, you get a new section on the page that's down here that's called topics. And any module can add topics to this page. These are what we call top level topics. And then if you click on one of these, you might get to other topics. The idea is not to put every single topic in a flat list at the top, but just to put the most important or the kind of indexing topics at the top and then link between them. So if you click through to like changing basic site settings topic, you'll get a topic that looks like this. So excuse me, there's a little header that's on top of every page that says see the help page for more topics, so it links you back there even if you don't have the breadcrumbs area turned on. And that link is actually in the help area, the help block, sorry, for this page. And then this area here is the body, the body of the help topic. And one of the things that's kind of interesting about these is that you can make links that go to admin pages on your site. So there's a way to do that. So like if you click on the basic site settings page, I'll open it up in a new tab. That's going to take you to your website's basic site settings page. And so same with the regional settings and the date and time formats page. And then down at the bottom here, you've got related topics. And that allows topic A to list other topics that it wants to have down here, and it'll just the help system will just make links to them. And then also, actually, both of these are listed from the other way around, so that on the topic that's called configuring error responses, it says I want to be listed on the changing basic site settings page. So there's a way to make bi-directional links so that topic A can say I want B to be in my related topics, and topic B can say I want to be on A's related topics section. So that's sort of the basic idea of the project. And so a module that wants to add a topic is going to do so by creating a YAML file that defines a plugin for a help topic. And I've got an example of what this changing basic site settings page looks like. You've got an ID line that gives you, a machine name for the topic. The label is the title of the topic. Then you have a listing of whether it's considered to be a top-level topic or not. So that means whether or not it's going to get listed on admin help. And then these next two lines here are where you can list topics to list as related on this topic, and also topics where I want to be listed on their related topics page that we just talked about. And then the rest of this is the body. And then at the very bottom, there's a text format for the body. So I can talk a little bit more about the format, but yeah, actually I did want to talk a little bit about the format for the body. So the body is a YAML list, like a YAML array of these little sections, and each one's about a paragraph long. And so each section has some text and then some optional prefix and suffix tags. And the reason for doing that is you need to break up the text into translatable sections. So they should be no longer than about a paragraph, both for, well, there's a technical reason that the translation database can't hold huge pieces of text, and there's an issue about that. And then there's another reason that is on localized.drupal.org, where the translation groups do their translation. Anything that's longer than about a paragraph or that has a lot of HTML tags like p tags is liable to get mangled, and it's harder to translate as well. So you want to keep things kind of short and have each section be about a paragraph long. So if you compare this to the actual output, you see the first piece here that says the settings for your site are configured, blah, blah, blah. That's a paragraph. And then you've got a DL list that starts there. So this is a DL list with a DT tag and then a DD tag and so on. And that's all encoded in this body here. And then at the bottom, there's this help text format. You could use any text format down here, but the help module provides one called help that should always be there so that you can make your help topics use that help format and they should work. So that's that. And then we have a page. This is the so sorry, if you go back to the help page, this is the module overview for the help topics module, the new help topics module. And what it says is that you can view the topics on the help page, and it gives a little paragraph about how to provide help topics. If you're a module, it says module and themes can make these YAML files, and you have to just put them in a subdirectory of your module called help topics, and then they have to be named something.helptopic.yaml, and then the module will discover them. So anyway, so that's it for my demo, really. I have a few questions for the product managers of Drupal core and the usability people. And the first one is kind of, do we want to actually go ahead and put this in so that we can have topics? The idea was that the module overviews that each module provides are really hard to use because you don't know ahead of time what module you need in order to, and these are more topic based. So like you can give people instructions on how to change your basic site settings, how to define navigation and links for your module, how to troubleshoot your site, and so on. So these are topics that site administrators might need. So I guess we've kind of already had a bunch of usability meetings where we've discussed that this is a good idea, but I just kind of want to put out there that we can commit it or not. And then the other questions are kind of about the implementation. Is we had another system of doing it, but now the current patch is for plugins with this YAML format. Is that a good idea? And then the other question I have, the main question that I brought up today, which is why I came to the meeting, is should this be two separate modules? Because right now we've got this new help topics module. It's an experimental module because it hasn't been approved as a final module. Should we just merge it in to be part of the existing core help module and not have two separate modules? And we could do that now, or we could do that later. If we do it later, then it becomes a little bit more difficult because people might start writing help topics, and some things might change if we merge it into the module later. So it's kind of a question of whether we want it to be all part of the main help module, and if so, should we do that now? That's my main question. And then the other question that Alex brought up in a previous review of this patch was this chunking of the body text with the prefix tags and the suffix tags. He was wondering whether that was really necessary. I think it is because of the translation bit, but maybe we can do it in some other way that's more intuitive. I thought it was pretty straightforward with the prefix tags and suffix tags and text. Like, it's pretty understandable for a module developer, but I don't know. So that's what I was hoping to discuss. I guess we only have one other person to discuss it with, but do you have any comments, Gabor?
Yeah, so if we think the module based help is not so good, then why are we displaying it up front, and why are we displaying topics under modules instead of?
Oh yeah, that was the other question, is the order. On this help page, we could move the topics section above the module overviews. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So that was brought up, I guess, at the previous usability meeting that I wasn't at, and we can definitely do that. I was a little bit reluctant to do it yet because we don't have very many topics written yet, but we could certainly, and also if this is an experimental module, I don't know whether it should be above the main help that we do have. So, but yeah, that's a one-line change to the patch. There's a wait when one of these sections is defined. That's a plugin system too. And when one of these sections is defined, it has a wait to it, so it's pretty easy to change the wait so it goes above, and that could be done later too, with a one-line patch.
Cool.
So yeah,
yeah, I think that the experimental module does not limit that. Like if you enable layout builder, it will take over your display modes configuration, even though it's experimental, because that's why you enabled it to.
Okay. Yeah.
Have a better experience, right? To evaluate having a better experience, I guess. So I think those should move up.
Okay.
Because that's, if we believe this is better, then this should be put up front. And also more introductory, I guess, than module overviews, because they are more advanced, or
okay,
maybe that's the better word.
Great. So we can make that change in the patch. Like I said, it's one-line change, so that's very easy to do. Okay.
Are these help topics going to be shipped in the committed patch? That's the idea.
They're in the patch now. Everything you see here is I just did this on simplytest.me, and all it is Drupal core 8.7.x with that patch. So what you see is what you have. Yeah, so there are I think about 10 topics that I wrote just to have some examples. And some of them have, some of them aren't top level. So like if you're on this changing basic site section, changing basic site settings, you can click on configuring error responses. This is not on the top level. Yeah. So you can see that's there. It's also listed under the maintaining and troubleshooting your site, which currently only has one topic in here. So that's why this is kind of still experimental. Like, oh, if I click on maintaining and troubleshooting, it actually doesn't tell me much. It just says there'll be some topics here, but there aren't any right now, except for configuring error responses. So anyway, there are about 10 topics that are in the patch right now, and we have an issue to write some more, but we didn't want to do it until it actually got committed, in case the format changed and stuff like that.
So is the reason for it being experimental to complete the help topics, or something else?
Well, I don't even know if it needs to be experimental. Yeah, one thing would be to have more of a system of help topics that's more complete. The another thing was somebody at a long ago usability meeting suggested adding search. So right now there's no way to search help. You just have to kind of navigate through the topics, which is kind of like what you do on Drupal.org, or I guess you have search there. Let me refresh my memory. At the top of this issue, here, there's a section in the issue summary about getting it to full release. So the issues were write some more topics. And then some things about images. Okay, the second one was add tokens for embed and link of help topics. So there's now a token system that's included in this patch that was what allows you to make links to routes on your site. So, like the links to the basic site settings page within that other topic we were looking at. And there's also a way to make a link to another help topic within the text, and those are tokens. Someone suggested adding a token that would embed, make a link as opposed to just the URL. Right now, you have to put the title in yourself, and just the token is only for the URL. So that was to enhance the token system a little bit. And the other thing was to make a token for images. And sorry, the search capability is also there. So yeah, so images, expanded tokens, more topics, and searching. And then we're also going to need to make a little patch to POTX, but I already figured out how to do that. I think it's pretty easy, because we just need to define that this piece is translatable.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I figured out how to do that in POTX.
Yeah.
That just has to get done also. So yeah, so those were the reasons that, so the other reason of proposing it as an experimental module is hopefully we could get in without like some huge objection, because it's still experimental and it doesn't have to be perfect quite yet. Since it doesn't have a UI, the main reason for that being an issue, I think, was the UI that we did have before, and also we had before in a previous patch on this issue. Lots of previous patches, we had it as a configuration as opposed to plugins, and that was kind of controversial as well. So I think all the controversial stuff has been taken out, and so, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think that we need to change anything particularly in what's there. And these functionality like adding search capability and writing more topics could be done later, and maybe we should just make it part of the help module now and you know, start working on more topics and improvements. So yeah, I don't even know if it needs to be experimental.
Yeah, the thing is that even if it's experimental, it would need to maintain backwards compatibility, because we only keep, I mean, if we are to release it as an experimental module, we need to have it maintain backwards compatibility after it being released.
Yeah.
Because we only keep beta modules in core and they require backwards compatibility. So they would need to have some
right.
Some decision on the format being used and how basic
right.
data model.
Right, and I think the last thing we want to do is put it into core and then change the YAML format once people have started writing help topics.
Yeah,
so,
bad.
Yeah. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I think that the YAML format is pretty straightforward and is probably what we need. And I think these issues about searching, having more topics, and you know, adding another token is not going to change the format. It's just going to make you know, make an added capability for people that are writing topics. And then also image management, I think, would be useful for some topics, and we don't have any way to really do that right now. So, but that's, you know, that's again, you know, those are enhancements that I don't know that we need in the initial release. So what is your feeling about it being experimental versus like just adding it to the help module as it is? And I guess the other question is, should it be a separate module or not?
I think ultimately it shouldn't be a separate module. I don't know if for managing this, it would make maybe more sense to have it as a separate module. It's kind of hard to tell on the spot. But I agree. At least writing out some more help topics would be good to like round out so that it looks more complete.
Yeah.
Looks like,
I guess my concern is if we add it as a separate module now and then move it into the core help module later, I don't know if all the names of the help topic files have to change or anything like that, or the fact that the plugin is now in a different namespace and a different. I don't think it does. I don't think it does change anything though. Well, let's see. What is the name of this one? No, I mean, like, actually the name of this file right now, I just added a .text so I could display it in my browser, but it's just config basic.helptopic.yaml. So yeah, that won't change, I guess. Yeah, so maybe it's okay if the module, if all the files in here change to be in a different module. The only problem would be if, you know, someone had made a if someone had subclassed one of the classes for some reason, then you know, the namespace would change.
Yeah, that way that other experimental modules do that is they mark their classes internal until they actually support classes.
Right, and one of the things that Alex Potts suggested when bringing up this question of should it be part of the core help module or not is that we could make it part of the core help module, but mark all the classes as internal for now, in case their API changes. So then at least they'd be in their final resting place, and we wouldn't have to make some big patch that moves them all. So I guess the question is, though, do we want people to see these help topics now if they have the existing core help module installed, or do we want them to have to go through the process of enabling a experimental module and knowing that it's still kind of in flux.
I mean, that's true for all the experimental features we have. Is we ultimately want those features to be the default experiences, like media layouts. But we're working on them to be the default experiences. But they are not yet /complete or whatever. So from like media, we have a media library as an experimental module, but it's mostly a view that doesn't actually do any data manipulation. So it could theoretically also have a stable thing.
Right.
I guess we've had the feeling that we are still working on it and we don't want to commit to being stable yet. So
yeah.
But it's a possibility to add a module in core and make it stable in the same release.
Yeah.
It's released, so it's still possible that it's added as experimental, but it's made stable before it's released if it gets there.
Yeah.
And then it's easier to get it in experimental, right? So that's as you've said.
Right. So you think we should leave it as a separate module for now?
I think that those reasons would help. Yeah.
Okay.
What were the other questions?
Hold on. I wrote them down so I wouldn't have to remember them. Let's see. Most recent. Here we go. Do we want this in core? I think the answer is yes. And then number 2 was, should it be added as an experimental module? That's what we decided. And then the third question was the YAML format with the HTML chunking.
I don't think that's a product question. That's a framework question. So that's why probably Alex raised that thing. I don't know if we could. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the chunking is definitely based on how we have translation implemented right now. It needs to be done in some place, in some form.
Yep.
I don't know if it could be reliably done programmatically without it affecting the format. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah. So one of the things that's in this patch is a kind of a standalone class that probably needs to go into core lib, or actually lib component probably. But anyway, is an HTML chunker class that says chunk and dechunk, or chunk and join, I guess, are the 2 methods in it. And so, we've got that as a standalone class, which will get added as a part of this patch. And right now it's in the experimental module and probably belongs there for the moment. So I think, for translatability, I think in the YAML format, it needs to be chunked, right? Because that's what's going to get read in by the POTX, right? I mean, unless we put the dechunking
in POTX as well, yes.
Right. But I think I don't know. I don't think this is really a bad format for a help author to write if they're writing the YAML directly. And in the user interface that we had, it was taken care of behind the scenes. But I mean, it doesn't seem it seems pretty easy to read and or write to me. But yeah. So I guess we could just bounce that question back to, like you said, the framework managers or Alex or whoever.
This is, at least in my understanding, this would be a frame. Like I would need to discuss this with the framework manager anyway. And I don't have strong opinions either way. Okay.
All right. So the 4th question is, we have the help that's provided for module and theme developers is on this. This is the module overview page. And all it says is you provide help topics as YAML-based plugins, put it in a subdirectory help topics, and then, look at one of the provided topics as a guide and name your file something.helptopic.yaml. Is that all we need to do? I kind of think it is, but that was a question that came up that Amber was concerned about is this enough help for module developers? So when we have this as a contrib module, we can have a README file that can go into great length about what to do, but we don't have that ability in core.
To have README files for modules?
No, we don't. Well, I mean, I guess you could, but there aren't any.
Yeah, we only have them for themes for some reason. I don't know. We started having them for themes, but not for modules.
Yeah.
Then you could explain the translation stuff, right? That
Okay.
how it's gonna happen and whatever. And I guess when it's dechunked, there's also translated with translation module, I guess, locally, if the strings are there.
So, oh yeah.
Those strings,
So,
yeah, when they're displayed.
yeah, if these strings have been translated, when you display your topic, oops, like this topic here, it'll translate each of the chunks. Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
that should be. I think we had some tests for that, but right.
Anyway, explaining that there would be useful, like it's gonna be translatable for
Okay, that's a good idea.
with the interface translation module.
Yeah.
And for Drupal.org based projects on localized at Drupal.org or something like that.
Right. Okay, so we should add a section to this about translating them. So I'll make the note of that.
I think so.
Okay, and then is there anything else you think we should add?
No, I think it explains the format, and then you can look at examples. It's fine.
Yeah. Since we have at least 10 of them right now, so
yeah.
Okay, and then the last one is about moving the help section above, and you said yes, we should do that. So yeah. That was all the questions I had then. Okay, so it sounds like we have 3 small changes to make to the patch then, which is to move the topic section up on the page to 2 changes. Move the topic section up and then add a little section to the help page to explain translation. And then we also need to just ask a framework manager about the chunking question. All right. I guess I'll have to figure out who the framework managers are currently.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we should discuss?
No, that looks good otherwise to me, at least.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
I don't have anything else then.
Yeah, I will try to distribute the video to others to provide feedback, and we'll see if that's successful or not.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you another time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.